Story 1 by Dave. I've been a pizza delivery guy for years, but one delivery will forever haunt me. It was a stormy night, the kind that sends shivers down your spine. I pulled up to the address, an old decrepit house at the end of a dimly lit street. I rang the doorbell and a chill ran down my spine as I heard heavy footsteps approaching. The door creaked open, revealing a pale, disheveled man who looked like he hadn't seen sunlight in years. He handed me a wad of cash without a word. His eyes locked onto mine, sending a shiver down my spine. As I turned to leave, I heard a faint voice from inside the house calling for help. My heart raced as I imagined the worst. I called 911 and the police arrived to rescue the person trapped in that eerie house. Turns out it was a kidnapping victim who had been held captive for months. I shudder to think what might have happened if I hadn't heard that faint cry for help. Story 2 by Debra. One night I delivered a pizza to an upscale apartment complex. The customer's instructions were clear. Leave the pizza at the door, ring the bell, and leave. No interaction. I thought it was odd, but I complied. I rang the bell and waited. Minutes felt like hours as an eerie silence enveloped me. Suddenly the door creaked open just a crack. I could barely see a pale, emotionless face staring back at me. They extended a hand holding the exact change. Without a word, they took the pizza and closed the door. As I walked back to my car, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I called the police to check on the resident. It turns out the customer was a victim of a stalker who had been watching their every move. They had been too terrified to speak, fearing for their life. My delivery that night might have saved them from a horrifying fate. Story 3 by Harvey Williams. One fateful night, I received an order for a pizza to be delivered deep into a secluded forest cabin. The address seemed strange, but money is money, right? I navigated the winding, narrow roads until I reached the cabin. The place was eerie, with no signs of life. I hesitated, but decided to knock on the door. An elderly woman, hunched and frail, greeted me with a toothless grin. She paid in cash and asked me to place the pizza on the kitchen table. As I did, I noticed an old photo album open to a page with pictures of the cabin. The woman pointed to a picture of herself as a young girl, standing in front of the same cabin. She whispered, "This was my childhood home." Suddenly the lights flickered, and I saw a reflection in the window, a figure from the forest. I ran out, jumped into my car, and sped away. Later I learned that the cabin had been abandoned for decades, and the woman I met had died years ago. The figure in the window remains a chilling mystery to this day. These true pizza delivery horror stories still send shivers down my spine whenever I think about them. You never know what darkness lurks behind the door of your next delivery.